For 15 years, every Sunday looked exactly the same. My husband would leave the house around 9 in the morning, kiss me goodbye, and return a few hours later carrying coffee, pastries, or some small gift. I never questioned it. After all, we had built a life together. We lived in a comfortable home in Illinois, raised 2 wonderful children, and looked like the kind of family people envied from the outside. My name is Sarah Bennett, and at 44 years old, I believed I knew my husband better than anyone. His name was Michael. He was dependable, successful, and always seemed to know exactly what to say. Looking back now, I realize that trust can sometimes blind you more effectively than lies. The warning signs had been there for years. Michael guarded his phone more carefully than before. His stories about work became vague. Every Sunday outing became a permanent routine. Whenever doubt entered my mind, I pushed it away. 15 years of marriage deserved trust, or at least that was what I kept telling myself. Everything changed one cold February morning. Michael rushed out as usual, but a few minutes later I heard a phone vibrating on the kitchen counter. He had forgotten it. I had no intention of touching it until the screen lit up. A single letter appeared as the caller ID. R. Without thinking, I answered. A woman spoke immediately. "Are you on your way yet?" The tone of her voice was not professional. It was familiar, comfortable, intimate. My heart sank before she even said another word. When she asked if Michael was coming, I knew exactly what I was hearing. After the call ended, I found an address connected to the contact and wrote it down. Deep inside, I already knew the truth. I just needed proof. Instead of confronting Michael, I stayed quiet. I met with a divorce attorney and hired a private investigator. 2 weeks later, the investigator handed me an envelope containing photographs. The first photo showed Michael arriving at a house 12 minutes from our own home. The second showed him unlocking the front door with a key. A key. The final photographs were impossible to explain away. Michael and another woman stood together in the driveway, like a couple who had shared a life for years. The investigator later confirmed they had been involved for more than a decade. 11 years. While I was raising our children, paying bills, celebrating anniversaries, and believing in our marriage, my husband had been living a second life. The betrayal hurt more than I can describe, but something unexpected happened. Instead of falling apart, I became focused. I gathered financial records, tax documents, property information, and every piece of evidence my attorney requested. When divorce proceedings began, Michael tried to convince me to settle quickly. He offered far less than I deserved and insisted we could handle everything privately. What he did not know was that my attorney had discovered something even bigger. For years, Michael had been secretly moving money through a separate business account. Hundreds of thousands of dollars had been hidden from our marital finances. The affair was no longer the only deception. When the evidence was presented in court, his entire story collapsed. The photographs, financial records, and documented transfers painted a picture that could not be denied. The judge ruled heavily in my favor. I received ownership of the house, a fair share of retirement assets, financial support, and protection against future manipulation. Ironically, the fallout did not stop with me. The other woman eventually learned that Michael had been misleading her as well. She had spent years believing he would leave his marriage and build a future with her. When the financial records became public, she filed her own legal action against him. In the end, the man who spent more than a decade deceiving 2 women lost both of them. The first Sunday after everything was finalized felt strange. I sat alone in my kitchen with a cup of coffee, expecting to feel empty. Instead, I felt peaceful. For years, I had feared being alone. What I discovered was that being alone and being free were completely different things. My children adjusted, life moved forward. I focused on my career, returned to old hobbies, and slowly rebuilt a version of myself that existed beyond being someone's wife. Today, when I think about those Sunday mornings, I no longer feel anger. I feel gratitude for the moment that forgotten phone started ringing. Sometimes the truth arrives quietly. Sometimes it waits years before revealing itself. But when it finally appears, it gives you something far more valuable than revenge. It gives you your life back. The biggest lesson I learned is simple. Staying silent does not protect a relationship. Trust should never require you to ignore reality. The moment I stopped lying to myself was the moment I finally became free.